桑tra pe shabla soa de明媚真为的真真瑞西体美根贝王波占贝亮康健克贝做根宗卡帕罗桑tra 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 pe shabla soa de明媚真为的真真瑞西体美根贝 王不将表扬，康健揭背祖见宗卡帕，楼桑tra pe shabla so wa de。妹妹真为的千千瑞西，提妹见被王波将表扬，康健揭背祖见宗卡帕。楼桑tra pe shabla so wa de。妹妹真为的千千瑞西，提妹见被王波将表扬，康健揭背祖见宗卡帕，楼桑tra 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 pe shabla so wa de。
Please, sit down. To everyone, for everyone, if you are interested, you may. Geschichte Personal is doing a review session. Today is the last review session at 1:30. Kaptu goya maral. Shiwada mambu shudo.
Good morning,
So good morning, everyone. So we'll have a question and answer session today. Please start with your question. Those who have questions, it would be better to come up, I think. But
have some questions, ask me.
Oh, yes. To save time, I think people should come up.
Laos?
Yes.
Laos?
Yes.
Oh. Yes.
Yes. So I have one question to ask you. That's, as a human being, the popularity, power, and connection, also the wealthiness are important for living. But on the one side, we also want to reach the last destination of life, which is nirvana too. So how could we living our current life, mixing these things together?
Oh, yes.
So how could we living our current life, mixing these two things together? So please give us the advice for living the balance. Thank you.
The real meaning of Dharma is give warm-heartedness. If possible, serve other, help other. If not, at least restrain harming other. That's the essence of practice of Dharma. So that your daily life as a different profession carry with that sincere motivation. That is a combination of our daily life and practice of Dharma.
Yes.
The practice Dharma does not mean, you isolated and close eye and remain like that. If we remain like this, but thinking money, that's not sort of practice of Dharma. Carry your daily work, even making money, but with honest, truth. At least, sincere motivation. Making money is necessary. The thousands, millions of poor people still there, lacking education, health, any sort of help about health. Look, Africa and many other countries. So therefore, the main, the message of Dharma, of Buddha, warm-heartedness and truthful, honest, and help others as much as you can. Okay.
Holiness. I have a question on energy. Today, there are so many bodhisattvas to make this event happen, and they seem to have unlimited energy. But usually in daily life, we feel very drained. So is there a way or practice that we can maintain that high energy state?
Jimba. So the Buddha said the sages do not wash away the sins of sentient beings, nor do they remove their suffering by their hands, but nor do they transfer their own realization.
Including Buddha, not practical. Buddha himself made very clear. He cannot remove the followers' suffering or sentient beings' suffering by hand, or cannot purify with sort of water. Nor he also give us his sort of spiritual energy. No. Only thing is how to change his followers' sort of the mental attitude. So he made it very clear how to transform our emotion, our mind. Like that. If you believe God, we all created by God, then we can pray to God, 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 God. As a Buddhist, not that way. Buddha, quite clever. All responsibility put on us. Yes, next question.
Khi thiền quán tâm từ thì đối tượng trong tâm hành giả là sự đau khổ của chúng sanh hay niềm vui của chúng sanh. Nếu một người chỉ ngồi thiền quán trong im lặng.
Question in Vietnamese. When cultivating love or compassion, you focus on all sentient beings to have happiness. So if you remain in one place, cultivating compassion and love, how can you actually help others in other places or something like that? If you remain in one place, how can it spread to others?
Loving kindness, firstly, to individuals.
So with regards to these two practices?
I think I already mentioned among your sort of acquainted people, those people is who usually you feel uncomfortable. And sometimes you wish that person should suffer more. Isn't it? Now that kind of sort of the situation, and particularly you should visualize, you see that person. Then that person also like me is want happiness, do not want suffering. So therefore, and then Buddha also say all sentient beings are same. So then you see develop the kindness towards that person. Once our attitude towards those people who usually you see you get some irritation, some uncomfortable. And once our mental attitude becoming more compassionate to that person, then we can extend more and more. So I think your neighbor think these things. Then whole community, Then through that way, eventually, entire 7 billion human beings. Then furthermore, entire sentient being on this planet. Then furthermore, entire universe, or say the sentient being in different sort of, galaxies like that. Then we can, once we develop, some kind of reasoning, or one single person or sentient being, want happiness just like me, do not want suffering, and then develop strong feeling towards that. Then we can extend entire sentient being who have the feeling of pleasure, happiness, and suffering. Then we can develop really serious sort of concern about the infinite sentient beings suffering. But with that, then you develop some kind of thinking. All sentient beings should reach the permanent happiness, something like that. Okay.
Thank you for your teaching.
Okay.
Thank you for your teaching.
Yes.
Then, for example, 19, I think,
59.
This is some sort of problem developed in Lhasa. And then many part of different sort of area in Tibet. So that day, 10th March, we usually carry certain sort of, the function here. The memory about 10th March, 1959. After finishing this function, when I reached my office, one my friend told me, he received some information from Tibet. Some Tibetan already started some demonstration in Lhasa. And immediately I felt, I remember, correct? 89, right, 89. So, so then I really feel sort of very sad. Now, as a result of that kind of movement, I think it creates more suffering, counterproductive. Then the suppression, killing start. So at that time, I visualize some of those leaders, visualize them, and they also want happiness, do not want suffering. But due to ignorance and due to anger, suspicion, they carry such, drastic action. The Chinese leader. So I visualize them and take their anger, their suspicion, distrust, and hatred, take myself and give them my own sort of compassion, feeling of compassion and forgiveness, these things. So that practice, of course, the actual situation, so not much sort of help, such thing, such meditation. But to myself, tremendous sort of helpful to keep peace of mind. Okay. So like that, when you face some problem, we may say troublemaker. When we face some troublemaker, then visualize them. They're also like a human being, just myself, like myself. So then through that way, try to keep peace of mind, reduce anger, fear, like that. Next question.
Yes, my question is that many times we see many things that disturb us. For example, people treating others people very badly. So just for peace of mind, we ignore it. But ignorance is not good because the bad thing is still there and doesn't change. So what should we do?
That's right.
That's the two tone to sometimes sembang da yewa doya da pa shaji modo.
Correct.
Also yewa doya jiro. Yewa doya da pa shaji modo. In a dealer nature the Cape Pam doos. That also the Namungi somebody can say also nature Jamashiva da. Gang how the two in that seminar Kanija would do that nature Donglenja da Kanija would do.
It is true. Now, when we look world, every morning, BBC radio and the television, a lot of problem, suffering. But then, if we just, keep feeling, I cannot do anything, helpless. I think that's wrong. We are part of 7 billion human beings. These problems, much as I already mentioned yesterday, I think, the many problems which we are self-created, our own creation, mainly a lack of education which educate people, warm-hearted, more compassionate mind, very helpful to keep peace of mind. Through that way, also very helpful for our physical health. So from childhood, teach these things. As I mentioned, hygiene of emotion, beside hygiene of physical. The children, young age, as I mentioned yesterday, their basic nature is more compassionate. They themselves, you see, experience how much benefit to them mother's care, mother's affection. So they, and also on top of that, our social animal. So friendship, very important. So therefore, now the mistake is our existing education system not adequate to further improve basic human good quality, which from childhood we already have this seed. Now education should include the warm-heartedness with smile is basic part of basic human nature, and you keep that, you will be much happier. And then one individual, 10 individual, 100,000, million and billions. If we, in education, we include this education in a strictly secular way. If it's based on religion, then what religion? And particularly those non-believer, then you see, difficult. So without touching any religion, simply, you see, teach these basic human value through reasoning and use scientific finding I feel we can do that. So I always say existing modern education is very much oriented about material value. So children, from childhood, they just thinking about material value, like that. And the materialistic thinking is very much emphasis on sensorial level experiences, seeing something nice, hearing something nice, and good taste, say, a good smell, a good touch, including sex. So they do not know how to develop inner peace. Naturally, they have no idea how to develop in mental level, not sensorial level, but mental level, anger or compassion. All these related with mental level, not sensorial level. So modern psychologists, they usually, concern about sensorial level. That is not adequate. In this respect, I think Indian tradition, over 1,000 years before Buddha come, already in this country, the technique of how to train our mental mind, not sensorial level. So we call shamatha, single-pointed meditation. Then vipassana, analytical meditation. In this country, 3,000-4,000 years already developed these techniques. Paying more attention about sixth mind. So in the West, of course, I always say, telling people I very much respect Judeo-Christian tradition, wonderful. So millions of people get immense benefit in the past, and still, and the future also, this Judeo-Christian tradition really remain helpful, remain source of inspiration for millions of human beings. However, in these traditions, mainly since they sort of believe creator, so everything, also they remain or depend on God. So pray. In this country, over 3,000 years, ancient Indian sort of tradition we call Sankhya philosophy. There are two groups. One believe creator, one do not believe creator. So then those people who have no concept of creator, according to like Buddhism, self-creation. We ourselves is creator. All our future depend on oneself. So then paying more attention how to deal with our destructive emotion. So shamatha, vipassana, these develop. Buddha himself, I consider, product of ancient Indian tradition. So Sankhya philosophy, then after that, Jain philosophy, no creator. Then Buddhist philosophy, no creator, but rather self-creation. So then paying more attention about how to transform our emotion, how to tackle our destructive emotion. The method to reduce destructive emotion, not through prayer, but through training our mind. So therefore, the last few days, difficult philosophy, related. If you see, we accept Creator, then Amitabha, 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 sufficient, okay. But since, you see, Buddhist way, like ancient Indian tradition, training transform our own emotion, our own mind. So that, so therefore, korsangi kare, cho kare. So therefore, you see, for example, one person, he very much sort of often you see develop anger, but that anger not remain 24 hours. You see, few occasions he really also showing anger, but that not remain 24 hours. So it shows anger is something, you see, due to certain factor it developed, but not part of our sixth mind's nature. If anger is nature of our mind, then we cannot do much. But anger, attachment, anger very much related with attachment, too much attachment. Then small sort of, also the opposite about thing which you very much attach, then feel anger. So anger comes, goes, comes, goes. Then, as the difficult text you see mentioned, the anger, attachment, all these negative emotion, very much based on ignorance, distorted view. So distorted view, no sound basis, just ignorance. So therefore, we can train, use human brain. We should not be slave of sensorial experiences. Sensorial experiences, elephant, all these animals, the sensorial level, they are seeing, hearing much stronger than a human being. Isn't it? I think, and elephant smell. I think a few miles away, they can feel like that. So they are big brain, but a major portion of their brain is related with sensorial. Mental level, very, very small. We human being, the mental level, sort of also related with brain, is stronger, larger. So now, it is quite pity if education simply, you see, they teach us how to use our sensorial experiences, which is common with other animals. We have this human being, human brain, this special sort of also potential of this sixth mind. Now we must utilize that sixth mind. That is the training about sixth mind, not relying on sensorial mind, but thinking, 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 thinking. So blind person, without seeing, without hearing, but you can train their mind, sixth mind. So sixth mind is more or less is independence from the sensorial level. So the main question, main sort of what's the point is, existing education system is lacking, lacking. You see, the knowledge about how to develop inner peace. So that I just, you see, and many scientists, many educationists also now agree. So you see, we have to work, start our work or effort now. Then the new generation. Now in India, already, you see, there are many education institutions now paying more attention. This country, very easy, telling them, I always telling them, the knowledge how to tackle our emotion is part of Indian education in ancient time. Unfortunately, modern India, so they completely neglected these things. So in this country, India is concerned, simply revival of their ancient sort of knowledge, how to tackle our emotion, psychology. And also, you see, India's tradition, secular, as I mentioned earlier, respect all religion and also respect non-believer, including atheist or communist. Okay. Don't matter, I mean, it doesn't matter whether believe religion or not. But still, they are human beings. They also want happy, inner peace, happy mind. So therefore, India's sort of tradition, the training our mind, transforming our mind through reasoning, through analytical meditation. That is reasoning. So that's part of ancient Indian tradition. We Tibetan, I always is telling my Indian friend, say all these knowledge come from India. So traditionally, Indian were our teacher, our guru. We are chela or disciple. So I usually is telling them, we are quite reliable student. Really. So after this knowledge reached Tibet, and now these are books, about 100 volumes of Buddha's own teaching, then about 200 volumes, since explanation, commentary about Buddha's own also teaching, together 300 volumes. You see, these all come from India. The ancient Tibetan, particularly Tibetan emperor, with help of one Indian master, Shantarakshita. You see, he asked our emperor, in order to study the Nalanda philosophy or logic, not necessary to learn Sanskrit. Since you already have a written sort of language, so should translate. Then more than 300 volumes translated. So these, you see, therefore all these knowledge come from India. Now, unfortunate or fortunate, unfortunately, India lost these ancient knowledge. I think British imperialists, introduced modern education according to their own way. So Indian, say, very much sort of rush to copy Western lifestyle, materialistic life. So now, many Indian, firstly, you see, they unfortunately means, you see, they forget this is ancient Indian many knowledge. And fortunately, universities, many educationists, now our teacher, ancient our teacher, lost these knowledge. So for example, I think yesterday, disciple of Indian now become teacher. So in any way, now my one commitment is try to revival of these knowledge in this country. It is very easy, simply revival, not bring something new. So, only thing is combination, modern education and ancient Indian education combined. Just easily can do. Now, many Indian universities, many educationists now really are paying sort of attention. For example, I think yesterday, I mentioned recently I met about 150 vice chancellor of different Indian university. I mentioned and then also now a number of Indian institutions and scholars now fully sort of realize the importance of revival of ancient Indian tradition. Now, next sort of possibility is China and these Buddhist countries. The China is the follower of Nalanda tradition. Tangsen 가서 향수. Xuanzang. So Xuanzang came Nalanda. So he brought Buddha Dharma according to Nalanda tradition. Therefore, now in Chinese mind, Han people, Huarren, today Buddhism is something close in their mind. So basically, Huarren, I think, look everywhere where Chinese community, bigger Chinese community there, like Vietnamese, wherever there are bigger community there, Buddhist temple, always there. So this shows, traditionally, you see, you are follower of Nalanda tradition and Buddhist tradition. So now today, China, I think I already mentioned about 3-4 years ago, one Peking University carried survey how many Buddhists in China. At that time, you see, their report mentioned more than 300 millions. And now, since then, the Buddhist population rapidly increasing. So therefore, China now can revival of these ancient Nalanda tradition. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we can make separation. Academic level, then religious level. So Buddhism as a religion, that's for Buddhist. But in Buddhist text, Buddhist literature, a lot of explanation, a lot of sort of method how to tackle our emotion. That should consider as an academic subject. So, firstly, India easily revival these things. Then second, China. You see, they pay more attention about this knowledge. I think the Chinese leaders, they really carry also I think with boldness, you see, tackling corruption. So corruption from outside control, difficult. So transform our emotion, honest, truthful, transparency. That's the best way to control corruption. From within, self-discipline. That's the best way. The control of corruption. Isn't it? Like that. So therefore, I feel in China, there is a real the possibility or chance. And then Korea, traditionally Buddhist country. And then Vietnam, Japan. Then certainly all those Buddhist country, Burma, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Laos, all Asian countries, traditionally Buddhist country. So it is quite easy. Then combine China and India, over 2 billion, 2.5 billion human beings, quite a big number. So it can also affect 7 billion human beings. So in order to create a happy world, ultimately the compassionate world, through education. So that is my commitment. So firstly, revival in this country, then China and the rest of the Asian country. And then in the West, now number of scientists also now showing interest. And some scientists, their profession, science, but individual, they practice some Buddhist practice. So now here important, some of these ideas, useful sort of also the knowledge which exists in Buddhist tradition should take as an academic subject. As I mentioned earlier, how to take care of our emotion. So hygiene of emotion, not considered as a religion. Then I think the whole world eventually, you see, can practice these things. Okay. So this also the sort of long future, not immediately, you see, transform our world, but really worthwhile. Make attempt, make effort, isn't it? Like that. So the real change or result of this effort, I will not see. I think my maximum maybe 20 years. So then about 100 years. So I may not see, but okay. But it is our responsibility. It's a thing, our problem. Then how to tackle this problem? Use weapon? The old-fashioned. One of our sort of wish is eventually this world should be demilitarized world. Very important. Then those people who only think money, they're selling more weapon. Weapon means killing, nothing. So without a weapon, even strong anger come. Then best thing is use this. When I was young, occasionally is a fight with my elder brother. Then my weapon is nail. So not much danger. Since I think this weapon you should develop, I think millions of human killed by weapon. Then nuclear weapon. These old-fashioned, 20th century, these things happen. Now, 21st century, I think, should think demilitarized the world. And the problem, so long human sort of intelligence, different views, different interests remain, the potential of conflict always there. Now, how to deal that problem is through talk, through dialogue. So therefore, I always believe and also expressing now this 21st century, in order to become peaceful century, we should develop the determination whenever we face some problem, how to solve this through dialogue. They also want a happy life, do not want suffering, do not want to sacrifice their own life. This we can take for granted. Everyone loves their own life. I think concept of war is part of feudal system. In the feudal system, ancient time, the individual take all power and then give order, kill or destroy my enemy. Then individual soldier, they love their life, but they have to carry their order. I think now today, democratic sort of world. So people is the real ruler of the world. Each country, ultimate ruler is the people, not individual leader. So I think people, even soldier, each soldier, you really determined to sacrifice your own life. I think individual soldier, I don't think. Since they wear the uniform and the weapon and then salary, so they have to go to war. Otherwise, individual, I don't think, ready to sacrifice their own life. So that's, I think, old-fashioned violence and army. These, I think, outdated. Of course, now I do not want to make distinction Easterner, Westerner, but the fact is, like in the West, like these the kings, they are they usually, they as a font, the military uniform, isn't it? In the West, they as the military something, some kind of familiar. You from which country?
Singapore.
No, originally, no, this one.
Where is it?
Germany. The people, Deutschland, also is a quite good fighter. So now, 20th century, I think so many people killed. And the 20th century's habit still remain in the beginning of 21st century. Whenever some problem, the immediate reaction is how to solve, how to face this by force. That's old thinking. Now, through education, we should develop the very concept whenever we see some problem, then how to solve this through talk. That's the only way. That's the only way. I think 20th century, I think around 200 million people killed through violence. If that immense violence create better, happy world, then we can justify. That's not the case. Not only immense suffering at that time, but still, I think, carry some very negative effect in our mind, as I mentioned, particularly our leaders. So they still spend a lot of money for weapon. It is a sad thing. It is a sad thing. So, then next question.
Korea 미 남년제
There are many Korean practitioners who do not understand what is meant, the meaning of ultimate bodhicitta. And so if they could understand it well, they might be able to do their practice better. So what is the meaning of the ultimate bodhicitta? So,
you have to study.
So they are asking for some kind of a transmission. Already spoken about this. Master Nagarjuna says what is dependent in is said to be empty, and that is designated, and that is a middle way. Since there is nothing which is not dependent, the originated, there is nothing which is not empty. And so we need to understand that. And in the 18th chapter of this same text by Master Nagarjuna, Mula Madhyamaka Karika, so karma and delusions are ended by, ended, and then you have liberation and so forth. So first you need to study and gain understanding based on hearing the teachings, and then understanding derived through reflection, and then understanding derived through one's meditation. So you need to put effort.
So these things, I myself also, you see, I develop interest about the emptiness, shunyata. My age around 14, 15, I develop interest. But then some experience come. Only my age, about 30 years, 30-year-old. Then further sort of thinking, and also they analyze these things, including quantum physics, very, very helpful. Nothing exists as appears. So, you see, then I think my age, then perhaps I think I think 70s, yes, 60s, 70s, then I should develop some deeper understanding. Then my daily practice mainly analyze the ultimate reality plus altruism. These two things, my main practice. Daily, let's say, thinking these things and recite some sort of useful sentences like Nagarjuna and some other also scholars or practitioners. Every day thinking, your sort of understanding then become deeper, deeper, deeper. Then eventually you can develop full conviction. With that conviction, still familiarize, then actually some experience come. Some consume like that. So not easy. So if you want, you see, if you to seek blessing from me, to understanding about Shunyata, I cannot do. Look, study. That's my sort of blessing. Nothing to offer you some blessing, nothing. I think at least I have the name Dalai Lama since childhood, till my own effort, and then some understanding. Before that, nothing happened from blessing from outside. Everything entirely depends on my own effort. Read, think, and then meditate. Okay. Next question.
존자님께서 건강하시고 오래오래 사시기를 기도드립니다. 저는
Question in Korean.
자신이 많지 않지만 저와 많은 사람들의 선한 마음을 개발하기 위해서 자비 명상을 하는 모임을 만들려고 하고 있습니다. 가피하여 주십시오. 저의 질문은 한국의 많은 불자들이 불교 수행을 전승받지 않았는데 자비 수행을 할 때 내 자신이 관세음보살 또는 부처가 되었다고 반상하면서 수행을 해도 괜찮습니까? 두 번째 질문은
Make the question. She's a bhikshuni from Korea. So they will have a group of Koreans to do meditation, and without having taken initiation, you cannot visualize yourself as a deity. So is it okay to visualize yourself even without initiation as a deity? As I already said yesterday, it's not okay to visualize yourself as a deity. When you meditate on emptiness, you don't necessarily need to do any meditation. It's not necessary to do any deity yoga practice.
For me, my daily sort of meditation about Shunyata, I also reflect quantum physics. Very helpful. Like that. Okay.
사마타와 이빠사나 수행을 하지 않고 오직 자비 명상 수행만 한다면 공성을 끼칠 수가 없습니까?
With regard to single-pointed concentration, calm abiding, and without calm abiding and vipassana, can you realize emptiness by meditating on compassion? By just meditating on emptiness and cultivating, compassion, can you realize emptiness? No. His Holiness answers.
The Tongpani
with emptiness,
Shunyata is
understanding
mainly
emptiness.
Is the wisdom side. Analyze. Wisdom. Or wisdom side. Then, of course, practice of altruism, also through reasoning. But you see, not the deeper sort of analyze what's the nature of sentient being, what the nature of suffering. Not necessarily go that deep. Simply, there's a sense of immense concern for suffering. So different way of approach. I think now time come. Par jasa kwa jigre. Par jasa kwa re. Now I think time picture.
Session with the Southeast Asians.
저는 뒤 양파부자 정도.